Hello everybody, welcome back to the United Stand. I'm here to pledge my case as to why Bruno Fernandes is underrated. Now, a lot of you guys, especially off the back of the result at the weekend, it's distraught. It's horrific. I don't even want to think about it. Losing 7-0 to Liverpool, there, I mentioned it. Have your 5 minutes of fame, your 5 minutes of fun, Liverpool fans, yes? But this is how integral Bruno Fernandes is to Manchester United, not only in the starting 11, not only as a football player, but the leadership he offers and everything like that. Yes, his petulance, yes, his display in the previous game against Liverpool was horrendous. We have come to terms with what Bruno Fernandes does in terms of what you would say the dark arts is of football, in terms of your diving, your I don't even know what else really to call it. Just petulance, isn't it? He's one of them players that you would very much hate to play against, and that is why so many opposition and rival fans hate him, right? Literally, that they do say that one of the footballers they hate the most is Bruno Fernandes for his antics. And also, he's a very, very good footballer. He creates opportunities, he scores goals, he's very good at it. So what we'll do is we'll get the statistics up on screen so far this season. I know he has played a ridiculous amount of football so far this season, so here you go. 24 games in the league, 5 goals, 6 assists, over 2,000 minutes. 8 games in Europa, 2 assists. FA Cup, 3 games, 2 assists. Carabao Cup, 5 games, 2 goals, 1 assist. So he's played 40 games already so far this season, contributing towards 18 goals and assists combined. 40 games, and I believe we can still play something like 20 odd more games of football if we are to obviously reach the final of both the FA Cup and Europa League, and obviously that's with the remaining Premier League games in there as well. A staggering amount of games and minutes, 3,500 minutes is ridiculous for any footballer. But let's get in to why I think Bruno Fernandes is underrated. And I guess what I would have said a week ago is this is because, or he's not necessarily underrated in the Man United fan base, he's underrated by the rival fans, the opposition fans. But now I'll go as far as to say, you know, there's people out there, and some of you that are watching this, 100%, you need to take kind of ownership for this, pleading that he was the one, or had to be the one, who lifted alone that Carabao Cup trophy. No one wanted a Harry Maguire to have anything to do with it, and you guys are the same people now disrespecting him, not wanting him to be the captain, saying, you know, it's disgraceful, disrespectful, all this, all that. You know, you can't flip-flop. You can't change your opinion just like that, especially going off of what other people have said. He's still my captain. He's had 100% easily the best run. I mean, you compare it to Harry Maguire, it's night and day. When it comes to winning football matches as a captain for Manchester United, his leadership on the pitch and off the pitch is second to none. I'm lucky, and other people in the United Stand team are lucky enough to experience going to Carrington and having brief encounters with the players, being in the same room, etc. Bruno Fernandes is always welcoming. He always will take pictures with fans. He's always interactive. He is just overall a warming, great person. And I don't mean that to come across like, you know, we're privileged in the sense that we do get the opportunity to sometimes meet these guys and have brief interactions with them. And I'm just letting you know that is how he is. You can see, I mean, just by judging this picture, but you can see what he means to the other players. You can see how much he impacts the other players on and off the pitch. When he wasn't playing last season in the odd game, especially when Ollie was in charge, if Bruno would sit out or be rested in a cup game, then Donny van der Beek would go in. It's night and day what he offers technically and pressing-wise, you know, physicality and everything like that. You know, he's not the biggest, but he always tries his hardest, 100%. And that is what you get with the Portuguese. Obviously, he's Portuguese, but the Portuguese, the Argentinian, it's almost called a South American type thing, isn't it? That's what you get. You get the dark arts in football. Casemiro is a master of it. Somehow, he's best mates with every referee. He never gets booked, and he's brilliant at it. You know, the Butcher, Leacher, Martinez, perfect at it. Great. He's literally come out and said he wants to kill everyone he plays against. But who else can say that? You can get Harry Maguire go, yeah, so I want to kill everyone. No, that doesn't happen. But you know, there's a reason that he is loved so much within that ground, especially. He's got multiple chants about him. He's constantly talked about as being probably definitely one of the best post-Fergie signings, 100%. His goals and assists, although they weren't of the same, well, height as what they previously were when he first came in. That's going to be because, you know, people have almost adapted to his style of play, and you know, you do kind of see that when someone has a really good first season, it's really good, and then they kind of tail off a little bit. That's what's, you know, if he was to keep up those goal scoring and assisting numbers, he'd be up in the legendary books already. But I mean, what he has been able to achieve at Manchester United in realistically what is a for the most part a awful performing team, whatever you think in regards to ability and everything like that. You know, when we had Pogba and we've had some very good players, he has been a shining light, I'd like to say, in terms of when it comes to what he can offer. He's always out for interviews. He's always one of the first ones to, you know, a performance like the one against Liverpool. He's always one of the first ones to acknowledge it and to make a statement out of it and say, you know, apologise, hold his hands up. He's got that relationship with the fans, and him, along with a lot of others who have been brought in under Ten Hag, have been able to establish that fan-player connection that has been absent for a fair amount of years so far. And I think, in my opinion, it's just so unfair to, you know, yes, he was disrespectful, yes, the whinging, yes, the petulance, but he's always done that. It's not, you know, I feel like it is being heavily highlighted because we have suffered such a heavy defeat 100%. So he's always done it. It's not like a new thing that now all of a sudden, wow, we're seeing the real Bruno Fernandes. He's always done it. And also this whole stigma that went out recently of him wanting to be subbed off, that's not the case. He didn't, and making a big deal of I can't remember the terminology that was used, but you know, he was throwing his arms out. He was demanding he be substituted instead of someone else. You know, that isn't the case at all. In the video in question, you can literally see he's literally just like this. And through sources that we have been able to actually find out, you know, MUFC sources that have told us, he actually, the reason that this was is he basically just didn't know where he was playing on the pitch at that current moment in time. There was various substitutions going on. I can't lie, I turned the game off at this point. I wasn't interested in watching. First time this season I've actually done so. Turned it off at like 5-0. I'm not watching that. But so I didn't personally see the incident until after on social media. So, you know, again, it's some, and for it to be brought up by an ex-Manchester United player in Gary Neville, you know, someone that a lot of people will look up to, and initially I don't think it was caught on cameras. So for Gary Neville to bring it up and then, you know, opposition fans get on it, get on top of it, makes a mountain out of a molehill. And he quite clearly isn't going to be that guy. You know, he does like to lead. He does like to be the leader. You can quite clearly see that. Even if he isn't, say you know, Maguire was to play for the rest of the season and Maguire takes the captain's armband because he is club captain, Bruno Fernandes is still going to be ultimately the guy on the pitch that is going to try and lead, going to try and lead by example, is going to point people about. But that's never going to change whether he is wearing the armband or not. He has the captain's mentality. Of course, there are other players in the team, Casemiro, Varane, De Gea, whoever you want to throw in there. There are other players capable of being Manchester United's captain, 100%. And I would say that one of them, Bruno Fernandes, is in the mix, is going to be the new Manchester United captain next season. Me personally, I don't think, and I don't see any reason as to why Bruno Fernandes should not be Manchester United's captain ever again. If Ten Hag wasn't going to take it off of Maguire, who was arguably one of Manchester United's worst ever captains, he's not going to take it off Bruno after a thumping, let's be honest, whether we deserved it or not, an absolute trouncing. He's not going to take it off of him just for throwing his arms up in the air. He does it every week, so there's no change. It's not like, yeah, as I say, he's all of a sudden done it. I'd be interested to see what you guys think, because on Twitter, a lot of people have been of the opinion that, you know, he's still our captain, he's still a very important player, and a lot of people, I feel like this has almost tipped them over the edge. This was the boiling point that, I mean, look, he is a frustrating figure, 100%. I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat anything. He is frustrating to watch, but that is why he's almost such a good player. He is unbelievable at what he is able to do. But sometimes he has to misplace a pass through to Rashford. He'll try that, not the same pass 5 times, but he'll make it that one time and it will create the goal that will win the game. That is what he has always done. So for me personally, I don't see why there is any reason as to why Manchester United should look to change the captain. He plays with a smile on his face, whether he's whinging or not, you know, and it is, you know, confined to that 90-minute match. You never see him whinge in an interview. You never see him whinge in the training ground. He is very Manchester United to me, in all honesty. And I do hope that that captain's armband sticks with him long term. There are other options that I wouldn't mind it going to. People that have mentioned De Gea, Varane, Casemiro, wouldn't mind ultimately. But I think this guy deserves to be Manchester United captain long term. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment as to if you think he deserves it. If he doesn't, interested to hear your guys' opinions. I'll be replying to a few comments down there. Subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.